So now I have this pressed. I'm gonna go ahead and make a line with a 1/4 inch line so that I can sew my 1/4 inch. I can use my ruler. Oops, that's centimeters. And then make my little dash marks to find my 1/4 inch line. This seam is not under as much stress as the nose and chin portion of the contour mask. So this can be a really quick back stitch. You don't necessarily have to be as exact with your stitches for this one, just as long as you stitch all the way along. Don't do them too big, but at the same time, you'll be okay. This is what creates a double-sided mask. So double layer mask is this fold. I'm gonna go ahead and add a few pins. Go do 3, one on either end and one in the middle. And then I'm going to hold my fabric in my hand. So I like, when I'm hand stitching, I like to have the extra pieces of extra bit of fabric out of my hand and just hold the seam line in my hand. So what I like to do is rest the fabric first on my middle finger and then sandwich my first finger on top of it. The rest of the fabric is going to be laying over my ring and my pinky finger with my thumb on top of it. So pressing down with my first finger into my middle finger and my thumb into my pinky and ring finger is what's going to keep the tension as I stitch. So I'm going to hold this, so I'll stitch in between my first finger and my thumb so that my tension is the same the whole time. So I'm going to go ahead and do my back stitch. And I'm going to do my back stitch twice to start my first stitch twice. Back stitch, and then I'll continue. Just to kind of secure the end. Like I said, this is a quick back stitch. This seam is just to keep the fabric together, folded in half, while we make this mask so that it's a double layer mask. So I'm not as worried about length for here, but having that double anchor will keep it nice and secure, especially if you throw it in the washing machine to wash it. Okay, and go ahead and do my first knot. Oh, my thread is a little short. I made it challenging on myself. I do have the lines on both sides, but you really only need it on one. I'm just trying to keep it. Keep it together. So pull the knot to the bottom, needle to the top. And start. If I had done 4 needles, it would probably have lined up a little bit better right here. So consider how many needles you are using so that your fabric edges are perfectly aligned. Don't want to pull them too tight because I don't want that bunching. off. Oh, I pulled the thread. Careful. When you pull your thread, that you keep your knot tight. So first stitch, do a back stitch twice so that it's nice and secure. So what I'm doing with my back stitch is I'm doing it all in one stitch. So I'm going down where I've done my back stitch, and then I'm moving forward with my next stitch instead of pulling it in and out from the back. Because this back stitch, like I said, doesn't have to be super pretty. You do want it to be secure and tight, but this stitch right here, and you want it to be, you know, a 1/4 inch straight line, but this stitch right here doesn't take a lot of pressure, doesn't take a lot of, it's not like a lot of stress, seam with a lot of stress. So this is the only seam that you can be lazy with your stitches. So close. There we go. And back stitch twice at the end and tie my knot. Okay, so we have our mask sewn together just along the edge where they were not already joined. Our next step is we're going to flip it right side out. And we are going to press with our iron. I'm gonna roll the seam at the bottom and press with my fingers so that my seam edge is right at the bottom. And then from there, just going to create a crease at the top. So now our pleated mask is ready to put in the pleats.